Hello, sunshine. I'm Gracie Gardner, and this is Gracie's Tarot Card. And thank you so much for joining me here today. I'm so excited to bring you another tarot card reading. This is a spread that I developed myself, and I call it "What Good is in This Pile of Crap?" And as a Gemini, I have a tendency to overthink everything, but at least one good thing about that is that I also love to try and find the good in every terrible situation. So hopefully you're having a good day, but if not, maybe I can help illuminate the good that's going on in spite of everything that's so terrible. Otherwise, you can take a look at the piles, and as you are picking your pile, think of a situation that's stinky or nasty or something that you've struggled with recently, and then I will hopefully be able to share with you some of the good things that have come into your life as a result of that, so stick with me. Alright, so we have 4 piles for you to choose from today. The first one is this little heart-eyed pooplet candy. I thought it would be fun to include candy with the pick-a-piles here, some poop-themed stuff. And it is also the Vivid Journey Tarot. So pile 2, we have this rainbow mint candy, and I've included that with the Everyday Witch Tarot. Pile 3, we have the little squinty-eyed Pooplets candy, and that one is paired with my Mythic Tarot deck. And then for pile 4, we have these brown poop mint candy, and that one is paired with the Zombie Tarot. So don't choose the Zombie Tarot if you don't enjoy zombie stuff. If that's going to freak you out, I recommend you choose one of the other piles, but honestly it's one of my absolute favorite tarot decks, and I just was really called to use it today. So I'll give you another second to choose your pile, but if you do need more time, just pause the video and I'll get right into the readings. Hello, my beautiful sunny people who picked pile number 1 with the little heart-eyed pooplet candy. So we've got lots of cards here today. It's a pretty big spread, and you did choose the Vivid Journey Tarot. I should mention that my cards are in French, and the French version is called Le Tarot du Voyage Lumineux, but that's no problem. I can understand the cards no problem, and I can be your tour guide, and I'll explain them for you and what cards they are. And I'll also, I know the camera angle is not great, so I'll also make sure to hold them up for you so you can see them better as well. So I asked a series of 8 questions and got cards for each question. So the first question that I asked was, what is the shit? And what came out was this pair here. Oh, sorry, that light is terribly bright. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Is that better? Yes, there we go. So I've got 2 cards here. I got the 4 of Swords along with the Knight of Cups. So this is really telling me that this was most likely some sort of either relationship or it might not have been romantic, but with the Knight of Cups it is coming across as being some sort of a romantic, at least situation. Which things just kind of, I'm hearing the words fizzled out or went flat. Just as things seemed like they were going to be heating up or getting better, it just kind of ended up, I don't know if this person has left your life completely. I'm not necessarily getting that sense too much, but maybe just this connection just didn't end up working out to be quite the romantic or love connection that you had hoped. And if this isn't a love or romantic connection, then it certainly did not end up being the positive connection that you had really anticipated it to be. So the next question that I asked was, what the heck happened? And I got 3 cards for this. I got the 5 of Pentacles, the Five of Swords, and the Moon card. So that's a very interesting combination. So this is kind of telling me that you might most likely don't really know exactly what happened with this Moon card here, but you're very much feeling left out in the cold. So I'm thinking that this person might have ghosted you for some of you. You might have lost touch with them a little bit, or things just kind of really cooled down and you're left scratching your head wondering what the heck happened. So I'm really always struck very much by this little, I don't know if you can see it, this little figure here behind the Five Swords, and then she's quite smug looking. So maybe you're feeling like your person or the connection that didn't work out, maybe you're feeling like they are in a better position than you. You were quite left out in the cold here with this Five of Pentacles card. So that's very unfortunate. It's never a good feeling to be left out in the cold by anybody. Sorry, I'm just taking a second here to see if there's any last messages before I move on. Yeah, I'm not really getting too much more other than the fact that you're probably feeling quite confused and yeah, you're just left feeling a little bit confused about what happened and a little bit uneasy perhaps. So what good things are easily seen as a result of this? And we have the beautiful Fool card, which happens to be one of my absolute favorite cards in the tarot deck. So I do think that as a result of this connection not really going the way that you had hoped, it actually has opened up some doors for you. I do think that because this is something that you've been able to see easily, I think you do realize that as a result of that not working out, you have had some new beginnings, you have had some new journeys, there maybe have been opportunities that have come your way, which I think you could see. Geez, who's calling me? Nobody ever calls me this time of day. Alright, so where was I? So, yes, I do think that you've had some opportunities that have come into your life as a result of whatever this was not working out, and that's always a good thing to have happen. You know, that silly adage that everybody always says, when one door closes, another door opens, and I kind of getting that energy from this card here. Not to use, I hate to use such a tired old saying, but I do think it is applicable here for sure. So we'll take a look now at the good things that are not easily seen. And with that question, we got this beautiful Three of Cups here for you. So perhaps you may not have been able to recognize right off the hop, but because of things not working out, you've actually been able to make other connections that have been able to thrive because this other person is not so much a part of your life. So you may have spent more time with friends, you may have reconnected a little bit more with family. Maybe you've just gone out and put yourself out into the world a little bit more than what you would have. I know, of course, this day and age, getting out into the world and doing stuff is not, it's easier for some than others. But perhaps you're still getting out and doing a little bit and making some new connections. Maybe it's online. Maybe you've just really taken the time to reconnect with old friends. So that's a really beautiful energy for this. So That's great. I'm really happy to see that in spite of things not working out so well in this connection, you've been able to really rejuvenate, really been able to have some fun and still live life, enjoy life to its fullest. So I also asked Spirit what lessons needed to be learned as a result. So why were you put through all of this crap? Why did this shitty situation happen? And we had the Knight of Wands come up. So perhaps you really needed to learn, the Knight of Wands, of course, is all about passion, and maybe you really needed to learn how to handle this situation. This was probably a situation in which you really needed to experience it, because maybe in the future you will have another situation that's similar, but you'll have this experience and you'll be able to draw upon it and perhaps come up with some better boundaries. Maybe you'll be able to speak your truth a little bit better. I am also picking up a lot on the lower 3 chakras with this card for some reason. So I don't know if you're the kind of person who believes in chakras or does chakra work, but I'm really picking up on the root base chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus chakra. So maybe that's a lesson you did learn or you still need to learn, but you might benefit from some meditations to help open and heal those areas. I'm a big chakra person. My life has changed quite dramatically since I started doing chakra meditations, and I found it to be such an incredible benefit in my life. So that might be something that you could really take a look at as well, because our root chakra is where we store a lot of our fears. It's where we have our drive and motivation. Our sacral chakra, oh gosh. Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank on that. But our solar plexus chakra, that's our identity and our self-expression. So by healing those 3 chakras, you're really able to present yourself out into the world with a lot more confidence, and especially when it comes to boundaries and that sort of thing. So I also asked for the next question was, how would this make me a better person? And we have this lovely Page of Swords here. So I'm getting a couple of messages for this. First one is that maybe this has really helped you to be able to identify and speak your truth in a situation. Maybe this was a tough situation for you to be able to say what you needed to say. I also am getting that this will help you in the future to be a little bit more discerning. Perhaps you might do your homework a little bit on people, somebody who's interested in you and interested in being a friend or a lover, and you might really take the time to really observe them and think about whether or not this person deserves to be in your life and whether or not you want them to be in your life. So another question that I asked was, what shit do I need to be careful not to step into? And for this one, we got 3 cards here. We got the Page of Cups, we got the 5 of Wands, and we've got the 10 of Cups. So for this, I'm kind of getting that I'm getting a few messages, so take what resonates and leave what doesn't, of course. But in the future, with love offers, you need to try to be careful not to be too resistant or too, I'm hearing the word abrasive, but that's a terrible word. I'm not accusing you of being abrasive at all. But don't let this past experience with this person keep you blocked and make you come across as being somebody that you're not. Because this could potentially be, this next person that's coming could potentially be a real love situation. It could be quite a wonderful thing. But if you are cold, or if you are a little bit, God, the word abrasive keeps coming up. If you're too, you know, sometimes as women, sometimes we like to, or I guess this could apply to men as well, but you know, we can be quite cold to people. We really want to prove that, or have them prove to us that they're worthy of our time and energy. And I guess you just don't want to become across as too much of a bitch or an asshole. That's so terrible. Don't hate me for saying that. But you know what I'm saying? We put up walls and we put on masks sometimes to protect ourselves. And I just think that if you put on this mask of maybe being a little bit impatient or uncaring, you could really miss out on a potential love situation. Another message that I'm getting possibly is that this person could try to come back, or this next person that comes into your life could really present as the Ten of Cups as being everything you ever want. But you really do need to take the time and energy to make sure that they are the real deal before you accept. Don't accept offers. Don't accept love offers that are not worthy of your time and energy. Don't just take anything that comes across your path. And I'm not saying you're desperate when I say that. But I think as people, sometimes we get lonely and we're often too willing to just overlook the red flags and jump into things that don't serve us. So a couple different messages there for these cards. Just take what resonates, what you feel like is most applicable for your situation. And last question for pile 1. I asked, what good things need to be focused on moving forward? So we have the beautiful 8 of Pentacles card here. And with this card, this is telling me that you really need to still keep focusing on work, on your projects, focus on yourself, and work on being the best, wonderful person you possibly can. I am getting a great energy from these cards, so I know some of the things I had to say were not necessarily the nicest, but please don't think that I hate you or your energy, because I am getting a very nice energy. I think that you've probably handled this situation with a lot of grace and poise, and that's wonderful. So keep doing the good work, keep focusing on you. I am, like I said, I was picking up a lot on the lower 3 chakras, especially with that 5 of Wands card and that King of Wands. And the Fool card has a lot of sacral chakra energy to it as well. So I do think you could really benefit if you are interested in doing some work on yourself or just self-improvement. I do think that you could really benefit from helping to heal those 3 areas. But also focusing on projects, focusing on work. I think you're killing it with work with this card. So, and I think that if you do focus on things that make you happy, that bring you abundance, you're really going to see a lot of growth and prosperity in your life. So lastly, for pile 1, I had pulled a couple of cards. I have this little oracle deck here called The Language of Flowers. I really love it. And I sometimes like to pull oracle cards just to get a little bit of advice. And I actually came up, you guys were lucky, you got 2 cards. So we got 2 cards here. We got Forget-Me-Not, Remembrance, and Calla Lily, Rejuvenation. So for this advice with the Calla Lily, Rejuvenation, going back to what I was saying before about working on yourself, being the best you possibly can. It really does. My goodness, there goes my throat all of a sudden. So work on your strengths and work on being the best you, for sure. So Forget-Me-Not with Remembrance. Memories in the past hold the key. So you are being called not to just take this situation and forget about it. There were important lessons for you to learn in this situation that you needed to learn. And Spirit is really, as painful as it can be to think about things that didn't work out in our favor or didn't go well, there are things that you do need to remember going forward that will help you in your future. So thank you so much, Pile 1, for joining me today and sharing your time with me. I appreciate it so much. If this at all resonated with you and if you enjoyed this, I'd love to hear about it down in the comment section. And also, you know the drill, like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Thank you so much for joining me here at Gracie's Tarot Garden. I can't believe I said cottage. Gracie's Tarot Garden. And hopefully I will see you again real soon. I love you. Bye-bye. Mwah. Hello, my beautiful sunny people who picked Pile 2 with the Rainbow Poop Vanilla Mints. So thank you for joining me. I know we've got a lot of cards here. It's a pretty big spread. You guys chose the Everyday Witch Tarot. So I asked 8 questions to Spirit, and I got lots of cards in response, so we'll have a lot to say, hopefully, about this situation. There were a few cards that came up that I wanted clarity on, and I have an Alice in Wonderland playing card set that I love to use for tarot, and I use that for clarity. So that's what these ones are here. So we'll get into it. The very first question I asked is, what is the shit? And the first card that came up is this 6 of Swords. So this is telling me that I'm getting 2 possible scenarios. But you either had to move away from somebody or somebody ended up moving away from you. So it was a situation or a person in which you had to distance yourself from. I'm getting that there was probably some conflict or just some hurt feelings. It just wasn't a great situation, and you ended up having to take your leave and move on. And you literally could have had to move away from this in the middle of the night. Yeah. All right, so we'll get into a little bit more here. The second question I asked was, what the heck happened? And we got the Ace of Swords, and when I clarified that, we got the 10 of Wands. So possibly there was some harsh words spoken, or there was some harsh truths revealed. I'm seeing something about time. So maybe you didn't have time for whatever this was, or they didn't have time for you. And you just didn't feel like you were a priority, perhaps. Sorry, I'm just taking a minute to see if there's any messages from my guides. Yeah, I'm hearing something about freedom. You needed freedom, or they needed freedom, and you needed some peace in this situation. I hope you found it. All right, so no, I'm not getting a terribly clear picture from these three cards about what exactly happened, but I am getting that there was some possible emotional turmoil. I'm not really necessarily picking up on a love situation here, but I do think there was something or someone, it could be love, that you did have to leave behind, or you were left behind. Kind of curious, so if you're comfortable enough commenting down below, I'd love to hear about exactly what it was that you or had to leave behind or were left behind from. Were you fired perhaps from your job? Maybe that might resonate for a few people, but that's not as important as the good things that are easily seen. So that was the next question that I asked. What good things are easily seen as a result from this situation? And we got two beautiful cards. So I do think that even though something did not work out for you, you did have a very challenging situation, possibly with some harsh words, communication, some bad feelings. We have the beautiful High Priestess card and the Ten of Cups. So I think you really had to rely on your intuition, and I think you really, whatever happened, really caused you to go within and connect with the divine, connect with God, Allah, Mother Earth, whatever it is that you believe in, whatever sort of higher power you believe in. And I do think that this has really helped you maybe tap into your intuition, which is always a beautiful and wonderful thing. And with this Ten of Cups here, so maybe as a result of whatever this was not working out, you have really been able to enhance your family life in some way. Maybe you've been able to spend more time with family. Maybe you found somebody, maybe you found the love of your life, and you're really working towards building a beautiful life together. But in any case, I do see that you are working hard to build the life of your dreams, and you really are taking the time to connect with Source, connect with the divine, and figure out how to build this beautiful life. And I think you know that, and you can see that as well. That's really beautiful energy. So some good things that are not easily seen. We have this lovely World card here. So this is telling me a few things here. This is telling me that whatever did not work out for you was not really meant for you. Or it was a situation in which it was just done. The time has ended. You are no longer needed to be with that person or with that thing that you were devoting your time and energy to. And now it's more time for you. So you've ended that cycle, and you've really been able to move on to something new and beautiful, which is lovely. So I really do get a great energy from this pile that you've really taken the time to pamper yourself, really nurture yourself. Maybe you've spent some time at the beach this summer if you were able to. Maybe you really just let go of the things that no longer serve you, which is a great thing. It's terribly hard to let go of things that no longer serve you. It's amazing how hard we try to hold on to things that aren't meant to be in our life, but I really see you letting go with a lot of poise and grace. So bravo, good for you. but you might not have really been able to see or understand that as well as easily as some other things. But I really am getting the sense that whatever it was that ended before, it is very much for your benefit, and it's a good thing that that is no longer as much of part of your life as it was before. So we'll take a look now. I asked the question, what lessons needed to be learned? And we got 3 cards for this one, very interesting energies here. So we got the 8 of Pentacles, the Justice card, sorry, I'll try and get that straightened out here, and the 9 of Wands. Oh wow, okay, such big energy here. So we'll start with the 9 of Wands. So if there was a lot of harsh communication or just harsh feelings, bad feelings, I think you really learned how to deal with that in an appropriate way. I know it's so super easy to lash out at the people that intend to do us harm, or even if they don't intend to do us harm, it can be so easy to be very like just react, you know, and instead of just trying to understand the situation. So I really think that you have figured, or was a lesson that you needed to learn, is that some battles you don't need to fight, some battles are not worthy of fighting, and that whoever has wronged you will have their own karma and justice to attend to, whether it be in this life or the next. Make no mistake, they will have to learn their own lessons. And I'm being drawn to these 2 cats here fighting, which I find really interesting. So maybe this was a legal matter, perhaps. I don't know if it went in your favor or not. I'm not sure. But yeah, so I am getting a lot of energy about fighting. So I think there were a lot of lessons you did have to learn about fighting. What battles to fight. When is it appropriate to say something? When is it appropriate to stand up for yourself? When is it appropriate just to walk away and let things be? There's something in here about work with this 8 of Pentacles, so perhaps this was a work situation. But I think part of your lesson was having to learn what life you were meant to be living and working towards creating that life that you're meant to be meant to have. I know personally, I lost my job back in March, and it really felt quite unfair. But I'm incredibly grateful now, looking back, because it really has put me in a different position, and it really has put me more on the path that I am meant to be on. And as easy as it would be for me to lash out and try to fight it and fight back at the people who I feel that have possibly wronged me, I know that it's just better to focus on my own work, focus on my new work, focus on the things that I'm meant to be doing instead of taking my time and energy and stewing over something that I cannot change. So that might be part of your lesson that you've had to learn as well. So the next question I asked Spirit was, how can this make me a better person? And we have this beautiful 6 of Pentacles card. So from this, I am picking up that this might have made you be a more giving person. Maybe you've been more careful with your time and energy. but you are still at least giving to the people in your life that need something from you. So that's wonderful. So you might be volunteering in your community. You might just be really appreciating those relationships in your life that are of value to you. So that's really beautiful, beautiful energy here. That's great. So whatever happened in this situation, I know I wasn't really able to pick up too clear of a message, but I can see that this has made you a much more giving, generous person overall. So that's great. When something that negative that happens and it ends up making us a more giving person, then you know that you've learned the right lessons and you haven't internalized it in a negative way. You've actually internalized it in quite a positive way. So good for you. So the next question I asked was, what shit do I need to be careful not to step into? So we got the Page of Cups with the 2, and I clarified it with the 2 of Pentacles. I honestly am not getting a terribly clear message here, and I've been thinking about these cards a bit here, but I think possibly with this is maybe you need to be careful not to get too wrapped up in your work. I don't know if you're a creative person, maybe you're a bit of an artist, maybe there's something that you make that you enjoy doing, and you need to be a little bit more careful to balance and juggle out other aspects of your life. If you focus too much on one thing, you have a tendency to become an unbalanced person, right? So too much of a good thing can be a bad thing. So I think this is just Spirit's way of trying to remind you that even the good things can become bad in excess. And so whatever it is that you're doing that you're really enjoying, make sure you're taking the time to balance it out with other stuff. I can see that you're a very hard worker, so that's really nice. You've done a lot of work, even if you're not in a job right now. I can see that you're really working hard, so good for you. So good things to focus on moving forward. We got 2 very interesting cards here. We got the 3 of Swords and the 10 of Swords. So kind of like what the heck, good things to focus on moving forward. So I think what this is telling me is that what you need to focus on is the fact that whatever this heartache, whatever this was that caused you so much heartache, because it obviously did cause you a lot of heartache with the 3 of Swords to come up here. I think there's not been so much of that heartbreak energy coming through with the cards, so perhaps you haven't focused so much on the heartbreak. But with the 10 of Swords, this is telling me that that this cycle of pain, any sort of bad feelings that you have, is really coming to an end. You are really, maybe you've come to the point where you can really start to see the good in the situation, and so it's really helped to lessen this heartache for you. I mean, the 10 of Swords is all about being, you've gotten to the lowest of the low. You cannot get you can't possibly get any worse than what you've experienced. And so maybe you need to keep that in mind, is that you've been through the worst, you've been through this heartache, and you know that it's only going to get better from here, I think is the thing that Spirit really wants to highlight with these 2 cards. I am being drawn to this journal. So perhaps you do need to write, perhaps writing about your experience, or maybe it could just even be unrelated writing. but that might help you to really move forward with a lot more confidence and security. Maybe you need, I am getting that you might not be a terribly expressive person. You might not be the kind of person to really open up to somebody and share these bad feelings that you're having about a situation. So perhaps journaling might be a way to help you move forward in the future. So I have one last card for you, pile 2. I do try to pull some sort of oracle card or advice card from Spirit, and today I chose the language of flowers. I don't know why I was drawn to this one. And you guys have this beautiful foxglove card here, and it says confidence, be what you want to see. So that is the advice from Spirit for you. If there's something you're holding back on that you wish to achieve, you know, you have to do it. There's nobody out there that can do it for you, so you just have to get yourself out there. Never in a million years did I think I'd be here on YouTube doing tarot readings, but you just have to dig down within yourself and try to find that confidence that you need to try to make things happen and try and make some of your dreams succeed. So I wish you all the best, pile 2. It's been an absolute pleasure to read for you today. If this at all resonated with you, if you enjoyed this, I'd really love you to comment, subscribe, share, hit that like button. You know the drill. Thank you so much for joining me here at Gracie's Tarot Cardage. Gosh, Gracie's Tarot Garden. I hope I will see you again soon. I love ya. Take care. Bye. Mwah. Hello, my beautiful sunny people who picked pile 3 with this little pooplet candy and the squinty laughing face. Thank you so much for joining me today for this reading. So I know it's kind of a big spread with a lot of cards, but I'll make sure to hold up the cards so you can see them better. I know the angle isn't great there, but so we'll take a look at things for you now. So first question I asked was, what is the shit? And we got the Wheel of Fortune. So I do feel a lot like this was something out of your control. This was very much a fated thing that was very much destined to happen in your life, as crummy as it probably was. I'm not picking up on too much energy about exactly what happened, but I think the next card will probably help clarify that a little bit more. But this is really telling me that you might have had some change in your finances, you might have had some change in your life circumstances, but it really ended up causing you a bit of problems. Especially at first, I'm getting. So, but do keep in mind, I am picking up that this very much was out of your control and that this was destined for you to happen, because I do think there were lessons for you to learn from whatever it was. So we'll get into it here. With the next question I asked was, what the heck happened? And we have the 8 of Cups. So the 8 of Cups is telling me this could have been some sort of connection. It's probably something to do with another person in which you or them had to move away from this. So maybe you ended up breaking up with your person, the love of your life. Maybe there's something happened. Maybe they left you, maybe you left them, but there's definitely an energy of moving away from a love situation, which is always very challenging, no matter if it was destined to happen or not. It's always very challenging to move away from a love situation, even if it's something that's not working out. So, and doubly hard if it was something that you were not expecting or prepared to deal with. So, kind of a big energy there for you guys. But the next question I asked Spirit, what good things are easily seen here. So we had the Six of Cups come up, and I clarified that with my Alice in Wonderland playing cards, which I love to use for tarot. So, with the Six of Cups, like normally that's very much a soulmate card. It speaks of somebody who's destined to be in your life. But with this Mythic Tarot, it's very much a bittersweet energy. It's somebody who is left with just their... Sorry, I'll try and center that a little bit better there for you guys. I apologize, I'm not doing a great job there. There we go, that's a bit better. So this is very much back to what I was saying. This is showing somebody who's really left with their just their memories, and it can be a very bittersweet feeling. I think you can remember the good things that happened as a result of this connection or experience. I think you've done a ton of thinking and reflecting on it, thinking about what happened. And with the King of Pentacles, so this is kind of interesting. I'm kind of getting that perhaps eventually this put you in a much more stable place in your life, especially financially. So maybe you've actually had some financial abundance come into your life as a result of this not working out, this crappy situation. And I think you've had a lot more stability, but at the same time you can remember a lot of the good times, and you are thinking about that and reflecting on it and still kind of wishing that perhaps you were back where you once were in the good times. But I think something that I am kind of picking up from this is that this stability, especially if it's financially, if you are experiencing perhaps an increase in financial stability. I'm not saying that you're loaded and really, got tons of money or anything, but this stability, that you're increased stability, I am picking up that it most likely would not have happened in your previous situation. So whatever success you are experiencing is a result from moving away or having moved away from the things that no longer serve you, as painful as it is. And I do think that you can see that to a certain degree. So next thing I asked Spirit was, what good things are not easily seen or known? So we have two interesting cards here. We have the Eight of Cups and the Eight of Pentacles, and we've had a lot of eights come out here in your reading, so 8 might be an important number for you. Maybe you were born on the 8th or the 8th month. I'm picking up that could be the case for some of you. So again, perhaps you quite can't see just how much this heartache has really helped you grow. I think you can see it to some degree, but I think Spirit is really trying to highlight that this anguish that you've experienced has really helped you grow, not only as a person, but has really helped you move forward in the right direction in your life, because I don't think that you were in the place that you were meant to be in the past. As painful as that might be to hear, and I apologize, you can tell me to go to hell, it won't bother me. But I do think that you were in a situation that really was not serving you and was causing you a lot of grief. I really am getting that. Perhaps you don't realize is that the situation you were in before, there were a lot of people talking behind your back. They were saying a lot of mean things. Maybe they weren't even really saying it to your face and you didn't realize it. And this, what I'm getting is that this really pissed off Spirit. This really pissed off God, whatever you believe in, Allah, Mother Earth. this really pissed off the divine. They really wanted you to get out of this situation that wasn't serving you and get you into a better place and moving into a better direction. So I think there were a lot of things going on behind the scenes that you weren't necessarily aware of. I think you were probably aware of some of it, but I think there was a lot more to the situation than what you knew, and a lot more that I think there were things that you were being protected from, because we don't always need to know all the dirty truth, all the nasty truth. I mean, even me just being a psychic and tapping into my psychic abilities, I have had a lot of things blocked by spirit and been told, no, you don't need to know that. Knowing that won't serve you. Knowing that is actually just going to hurt your spirit and make you feel like less of a person. So we are going to block that information from you for your own good. So I'm getting a little bit of that energy right here. With the Eight of Pentacles, I think maybe this situation has caused you to, if it's not a work situation, you've really thrown yourself into projects or perhaps working on yourself, becoming a better person. I'm picking up something about diet. Maybe you've improved your diet as a result of this. So maybe you're eating much more carefully. I'm also picking up on running. So perhaps you're also running a little bit or doing a little bit more exercise. And I think these improvements that you've made in your life, even if it doesn't have anything to do with diet or exercise, the improvements that you've made, the work that you've done in your life, Spirit is actually very proud of you, and they're actually, and I'm getting like massive tingles through my body right now, so I know that's them affirming what I'm saying, but they are very proud of you and the choices that you've made to better yourself, and they really want you to keep moving forward in the right direction. So this is something that you might not have been aware of, but they want you to know that they are proud of you. And again, I'm getting more tingles. So Spirit very much loves you and is working in your life in ways that you probably don't fully know or understand, but they want you to know. Spirit wants you to know that they are working for your good, even if it's hard to see, even if it feels bittersweet. So what lessons did you need to learn as a result of this? We came up with 2 cards here. We have the 2 of Swords and the Ace of Wands. So kind of interesting here. So perhaps you needed to learn some lessons about boundaries, when to put boundaries into place. Perhaps this situation made you feel really blocked and limited, and this was something in which you really needed to learn how to take action, how to make movement, how to bring your passions forward into the world. Excuse me, pardon me, whenever I burp, I know Spirit's coming through here. So I think there's something here. There very much is some message here about learning how to not block your abundance and your passions and your abilities. That might resonate for some people. But for other people, this might just simply mean learning how to put boundaries in place with people who are really pushing your buttons, pushing your boundaries, pushing your comfort level. You really need to learn you've had to learn when to say no, when to speak up for yourself, when to put those boundaries in place and say, no, I am not comfortable with this. No, this is beyond what I think is acceptable in my life. So good for you. Those are hard lessons to learn, that's for sure. So how will this make me a better person? We got the Page of Swords, and this is interesting because this came up in the same position and for the same question for the first pile. So, yes, okay, so what this is telling me that this is really, you've really had to learn how to speak your truth. You've really had to learn. This has made you a better person because it's made you more likely to stand up for yourself and say what you need to say. Say when something is not acceptable, which is a fantastic energy to have. Bravo. Sorry, I'm just going to take a second here to see if there's any messages to channel. Yeah, I'm really getting that you've just learned, you've cut things out of your life that don't serve you, or you've seen how when things don't serve you, they're best gone from your life. So you can see perhaps, or you were learning that this can really help make you a better person to have this excess, because when we have things in our life that don't serve us, when we have things that are not for our greater good, it actually can block our abundance, and it can really keep us from having new, more appropriate things enter our life. So by speaking your truth, by cutting out things that no longer serve you, this has made you a much better person overall. So another question I asked Spirit was, what shit do I need to be careful not to step in? So we've got here the Ace of Swords and the Five of Wands. I love this card. This is one of my favorite cards from this deck. And it says, in case you can't read it, I am doubtful about the temperament of your flamingo. And it always makes me think of the Alice in Wonderland where she is using the flamingo to play croquet and it just goes all limp on her and she's just all frustrated. So I think that this is telling me that you need to be careful not to get frustrated with the things that don't work in your life. So the things that are giving you a hard time, the people that are giving you a hard time, they're the things that need to be cut from your life. They're the things that are excess. They are the things that are not serving you. And it's not necessarily that they are a bad person or it's a bad thing. It's just not right for you. And sometimes that's hard to remember and hard to think about, but we do need to keep that in mind. So moving forward, if you're coming across situations in which you're feeling like you hit a brick wall or you're working with a floppy flamingo, it's perhaps a sign that you're not quite on the right path, or you need to try to do something a little bit differently. So don't be afraid to stand up for yourself. Don't be afraid to say, no, this is not for my highest good, and move on to something that serves you much better. So we have asked one last question here. And it is, what good things do you need to focus on moving forward? And we got 3 cards here, some beautiful energies. We've got the Page of Cups, the Judgment, and the King of Cups. So I'm getting a couple of messages, and you can take what is relevant and leave what's not. But I am getting that if this was a love situation that you had to leave behind, I am picking up that there's going to be a much more fulfilling and satisfying love connection come into your life in the future, which is fantastic. That's really great. I'm trying to get this centered in here better. So things to focus on moving forward. Focus on good relationships that are working well, where there's good communication. Try not to become too judgmental in terms of love situations. Be open, be accepting, and with regards to the past, no, I can very much get that spirit is on your side, and so you don't need to worry so much about the past things that didn't work out. If there is any justice or karma that needs to be dished out, I'm very much getting that spirit is going to do that on your behalf for you, and so you can just let that go. You can just let that heartache, let that past hurt go, and focus on the new and beautiful love that's going to be coming into your life. Focus on loving yourself. Focus on loving the people that are good to you. So I did ask for a piece of advice from my oracle cards, and I used the Language of Flowers oracle cards. They're beautiful little cards here. And the one that came out for you guys is this card, Realization. The answer is here, take heed. So I don't know if there's something in this message today that you're doubting, and you don't have to believe what I say. You can be skeptical, but that's perfectly fine by me. But I think that what Spirit is saying is that there's at least some message in here that you do really need to take to heart. And if it's anything, it's probably that Spirit is quite proud of you and is on your side and working with you. So just, yeah, take it how it resonates. But this reading is for you. You were meant to hear this message. So believe that. Believe what you've heard. Or not. Whatever. I mean, it's no skin off my nose. It's no skin off Spirit's nose either, right? They'll keep trying to bring messages to you and try to keep showing you that they love you. But I think the more that you accept some of these messages, perhaps, the easier it will be for you to accept the new abundance that I can see is definitely coming into your life in the future. So I hope that helped you, pile 3. I really enjoyed tapping into your energies. Thank you so much for joining me on Gracie's Tarot Garden. If that resonated, I'd love to hear about it down in the comments. Otherwise, like, share, subscribe. You know the drill. I love you so much. You take care of yourself, and I'll see you again soon. Bye. Mwah. All right. Hello, beautiful sunny person joining me for pile 4 with this Zombie Tarot, one of my absolute favorite decks. And I'll tell you, I'm getting some pretty interesting messages here, so I'm really excited to get into it with you guys. I know there's a lot of cards here. It's a pretty big spread, but don't worry, I'm going to break it down for you. And I'll make sure I hold the cards up to the camera as well as best as I can so you can see them. So the first question that I asked, we'll get right into it, is what is the shit? So the card that came out here is this 2 of Hazards, 2 of Pentacles. So I'm kind of getting that somebody juggled you. I'm really picking up that somebody kept you on a short leash. Somebody really kept you here and tied down and tethered. But it was very much an uneven connection, whatever this connection was. I am thinking that it is a love connection. I could be wrong, but you were putting a lot more into this and you were much more devoted to this connection or whatever this was, than the person was with you. I think that you got played, and I'm sorry to say that, and I'm sorry to hear and feel that. So shame on them, whoever did that to you. I think they really, I hate to say it, I think they got a little bit of kick out of juggling you and making you kind of, I don't want to say perform, but getting you to do what they wanted you to do for them. So we'll move on. So what the heck happened is the next question I asked, and I got the 3 of Cups and the 6 of Wands when I clarified it. So again, I'm getting massive juggling energy. I do think this was some sort of third-party situation for the majority of you. And I think that ultimately with this, it's funny because the 6 of Wands card is usually very much a victory card, but I don't know if you can see here this weird little tortoise creature from my Alice in Wonderland playing card deck is crying. So I really do think that you thought you were going to be victorious in this situation, and you ended up being the one who was snubbed or dumped or discarded, or whatever the word is you want to is appropriate there. So yeah, I think you felt quite confident that you were going to be victorious, that you were going to be the person that this was your person, and that you guys, maybe you were married, or maybe you thought you would get married, but it definitely did not work out the way that you thought it was going to, and I'm very sorry about that. I'm very sorry about that. I'm hearing the words, it died, so that's terrible. Okay, so let's start to move into the good things that are easily seen. And for this question, we got this beautiful 7 of Cups. So right off the bat, I am hearing you have got options, my dear. So if you feel like there's nobody else out there for you, I'm getting that that's not necessarily the case, but I think you can definitely tell that there are definitely much more fish in the sea. There are billions of people in this world, and of course it's not, you know, if it doesn't work out with one, then that is no problem. There are plenty more people out there for you who you could be compatible with. So, and I think you can definitely tell that. I think that you are a wonderful person, and that you know you got plenty of options. Yeah, for sure. Alright, so we'll move on to what good things are not easily seen or known. So with this, we have the Ace of Pentacles, the Ace of Hazards card. And so for this, I am seeing that because I think this person that you were with before was really blocking your abundance. Or there was something about this situation, maybe they were really a drain on your finances. I'm kind of picking up on that too. So take what resonates and leave what doesn't, of course. But what I'm really getting is that because this person is no longer so much a part of your life, you've actually really been able to rebuild, and I think you're really tapping into that abundant side of you, which is always beautiful. I think there were certain aspects of you before that you might have really tried to repress or smother, or you just really, maybe you weren't really allowed to show in this past connection. And I think with this person out of your life, you're much more free to be yourself. You're much more free to express who you are, which is a wonderful thing. I think maybe ultimately you'll feel more comfortable being yourself and being who you're really meant to be. So what lessons needed to be learned from this? We have the Four of Hazards here. So I think one thing that's coming through is that you needed to learn not to hold on too tightly to that which is not meant for you or that which is not serving you. And that's an awfully hard lesson to learn. I mean, when we're in a relationship, when we're in a connection and we feel like this person is really the person we're meant to be with, we can really hold on tight. We can, sometimes when somebody wants to let us go, we can chase after them, or we can try to entice them back into our life. And that's often the wrong, I'd say most of the time, that's the wrong attitude to take. That's not really chasing after that which does not serve us, that which does not want to be in our life. Is kind of like chasing after a stray cat, It's very futile, and it's not giving the universe a good sign that you're ready for something better either. So, also maybe a few of you could have sort of hoarding tendencies where you try to hold on to things or material wealth, and that could also be a lesson that you've needed to learn how to with the law. You might be big on the law of attraction, you might not even know what that is, but basically that dictates that how our attitudes and perceptions of the world is what naturally comes to us. So if we have an attitude and a perception of abundance, then abundance is more drawn to us. If we have an attitude of poverty and that there's not enough, then oftentimes that is what is fulfilled in our life. We experience poverty and we experience a lack. So I do think that could be part of the lesson that you are meant to learn in this situation. But of course, you can easily tell me to bugger off and that I'm wrong. That's okay. I don't mind at all. But I am picking up on that a little bit. So how will this make me a better person? So beautiful, beautiful cards and energies here for this one. This is telling me that because this situation didn't work out, you are pretty much going to have your wish fulfillment. You really are. I think this has really helped to get you on a better path and helped you to be ultimately a more authentic person, which you may or may not be able to see very easily from this point. But I really do see that better things are coming into your life, things that serve you better and is much better energy. There might be somebody or a situation coming into your life or did come into your life in recent past, which is really going to improve things for you. So that's lovely. That's great. It's really going to help you be a better person. Maybe you're trying to look at the world a little differently. So that's beautiful. 9 of Cups in the Sun. Doesn't get much better than that. So I think you've really learned from this situation, and you've really learned the lessons you need to learn, and you are really coming into your own as a result of it. Sorry, I was just checking to make sure it's still recording here. So we have shit do I need to be careful not to step into? We have the Eight of Wands and the Two of Wands. So I'm getting from this, maybe if this past person does try to come back, you need to be careful not to get caught up in the drama of it. You don't need to fight with anybody. You don't need to fight with this person. You're on a new path, you're on a new journey, and you really need to focus on staying on that new path and on that new journey. Don't get sucked back into past drama. Don't look back to the past, except to just count your blessings and realize what good things have come into your life as a result of this. There's no need to really think about the other people involved. There's no need to really sit in the shit and really ruminate on the bad things about the situation. All right, and the last question I asked was, what good things do you need to focus on moving forward? So we have the Five of Wands and the Eight of Cups, which is very interesting energies here. So I think what you need to focus on, again, kind of building on what I was saying just with the last cards, is you really need to focus on moving forward, leaving what doesn't serve you, and moving beyond that. Sorry, I'm just taking a second to see if there's any extra messages here from Spirit that need to come through. I think that this very much was a very challenging situation for you. I think it was very, very difficult for you. And I think it does serve you to see what a survivor you are. I think it does serve you to really think about the benefits of leaving that situation in the past. I'm hearing that if this is a love situation and you're single, I'm very much hearing that the next person that you're with could very well be the one that you grow old with. So that's a really lovely thing. So just keep looking forward, keep moving forward. Let the losers of the past keep fighting it out. You don't need to put your energy there. So, I did ask Spirit for an oracle card for a piece of advice before we leave today, and I chose the Language of Flowers cards. And the card that came up for you guys was this lovely Agapanthus, which says, words of love, speak with your heart. So that's really beautiful. So again, the advice here, choose your words carefully. There's no need for you to get in the mindset of hate. There's no need for you to hate on any people in the past. There's no need for you to get in that energy. So just speak words of love out into the world, and that is definitely what you are going to get back. Speak your truth if you need to, but do so. Don't speak it in a way to cut somebody up and cut them down. Speak it because it's what you need to say to heal. Speak it as if it's something, speak it as if, like, instead of saying, I hate you, you ruined my life, say something to the effects of, it was really hard on me when you juggled me and you didn't make me a priority in your life. When you didn't show me that I was an important person in your life, it made me feel like I wasn't special. I'm sure that's not a great example, but there's a way of speaking in which people can be more receptive to hearing what you have to say, in which you're not attacking somebody, but you're mostly conveying what you need to say and speak your truth. So I don't know if that was helpful at all, Pile 4. I really enjoyed reading these cards for you today, and hopefully I helped you to find some good things in all this pile of shit that happened. If that resonated, I'd love to hear about it down in the comments. Otherwise, if you could like, share, or subscribe, that would be amazing. And hopefully I'll see you again soon here at Gracie's Tarot Garden. Thank you so much for joining me. I love you. Bye.